Recognize Mr. Griffith, 5 minutes.
Thank you very much, Dr. Cavazzoni. I was glad to hear you mention just now benefits and risks of a drug and making sure we know all of those. I'm glad the FDA has changed its position related to medicinal marijuana. I wish it had been the case sooner. I went public in 1998. I think the science was there when Virginia passed its law in 1979 for medicinal marijuana. The problem was it required that you have a prescription. And because it was scheduled as Schedule 1, I know that was you all and the DEA, but because it was Schedule 1, the research that needed to be done to use it for medicinal purposes wasn't there, and the doctors couldn't prescribe. I think we'd have a more sane policy today towards using THC for medicinal purposes had we done that. I'll leave it at that. I'm not looking for a comment, but I'm just leave it at that for now. We'll exchange some questions later and do some things there, but I have more to get to. I could go on for hours about different things. The next one I want to switch to is the Act for ALS Act that was signed into law in 2021. It allowed for increased research and understanding into rare neurodegenerative and terminal diseases. And that didn't just mean ALS. ALS was put into the title because that's one that everybody knows about. You don't have to get into a lot of explanation, but there are a lot of others that were to be, have this new increased research and understanding between the FDA, the NIH, and drug companies to try to move these treatments along. I have spoken at previous hearings about the need for more attention to developing treatments for Huntington's disease because there currently is no treatment. And, perhaps it's vital to me because I may be the only one here, I suspect I am, who has the knowledge of and are friends with 2 different families who are affected by Huntington's. And so it's a serious issue. So because of the Act for ALS Act, FDA's released their action plan for these diseases, which included the first disease-specific science strategy focused on expediting development of therapies for ALS. And I support that. But that cannot be in lieu of exercising the same level of urgency for other diseases like Huntington's. Can you commit to ensuring that you all will take a similar all-hands-on-deck approach, leveraging regulatory flexibility and working with sponsors in the Huntington's space?
So we are, of course, share the problem with Huntington's disease. It's a terrible disease with no treatments, and we are working with sponsors and developers to bring therapies to patients. We've made a lot of progress with the Act to ALS. For ALS, we have established a public-private partnership. We have issued grants, and we have established a strategic plan. We would very much want to be interested in expanding to other neurodegenerative diseases. We need more resources. To give you an idea, the FDA and CEDAR did not receive any funding to contribute to the public-private.
But is that why Huntington's and other diseases are being slow-walked? Because I think the companies are ready to go. They just need some.
Yeah. We need to have
direction.
more resources to be able to, within the context of the public-private partnership and within the context of the grant program that the Act of ALS established, our ability to expand only depends on the resources that we have available. So we're very interested in working with developers.
My time is running out. I'll send you a question for the record so that you can give me more information on that. I also want to let you know that I'm concerned about foreign inspections, and we're sending a letter to Commissioner Califf in that regard. And the problem is that we found a lot of violations in a lot of the countries which are producing the medicines for our folks here in the United States. And I'm very concerned that we don't have enough inspectors. I've got some ideas on that, ways that we might be able to solve some of that inspector problem by having folks who maybe don't have the high-level training, but at least can go in and see if there's feces on the wall. Because in some cases, that's what we see in some of the prior inspection reports that are happening at places where people think they're getting safe medicines, but the ingredients are being shipped in from other countries, particularly Asia, and coming here, and they're not quite ready for prime time. So my time is just about up, so I'm going to have to use the questions for the record process on that as well. and invite all of you to respond. Thank you.